Welcome to the Romance Podcast, or should I say CHEERIO? CHEERIO, because we just got back from London.
It's a bit nice out, isn't it?
You have a way better accent than I do. You said a couple of things in London. I was like, yeah, it's pretty spot on.
I nailed it. No, I found my people.
Yeah. Give me some more.
More?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's so hard at the top of my head. Let's see. Bloody hell. It's a bit lonely out, isn't it?
There you go. Now you're kind of in the mode. So
Hop on Southwark.
Yeah, there you go. Southwark, which is actually it's pronounced Southwark, but they say what? Southwark. It's crazy. Like, we had a really, really cool vacation out in London. It was actually a work trip for you.
Yeah.
Because Q101 brought a bunch of listeners out for the Bears game. Obviously, the Bears were in London. They won. It was amazing. We'll get to all that stuff. But, to give you a little credit, it was your idea to kind of do this trip for the station, wasn't it?
Yes. If you backdate on the air when the game got announced, I was like, we have to do something with listeners out here. It would be so cool. It was kind of a joke because Brian was teasing me like, how brave of you to talk about how cool it would be. Like, I was taking this big stance, and we went and talked to our boss afterwards, and he goes, yes, I'm aware. It would be really cool. We're going to look into it. And so ended up panning out. It was amazing. Such a unique experience with listeners too, who honestly became friends.
Yeah.
A lot of them. That was really cool.
Yeah, it was.
I was just messaging like Heather back and forth online. She was one of the listeners on the trip, and it is fun. You make friends that way too. It's a nice way to do it. We had a couple of single people come on the trip, and that's,
I think 4, right?
4 single people. Yeah. And that's one of the things I talked about because only 2, well, it was one person, but it was like a pair won the trip because it's expensive. Right. It was $5,000 a person because everything was included though for the $5,000. So your travel, hotel, Bears game ticket, experiences each day, most of the food and drink, honestly. So it was very, very packed, very well put together, totally worth the money. But we had to talk about that on air and sell it, so to speak, to people so they knew what they were purchasing. And I'm like, you know what? At a time when I was a single girl, I know I'm not anymore. I was going to say as a single girl, but
damn right you're not anymore.
But I'm saying, like, this would have been a great thing for me to purchase because you have something in common with the people going, right? It's like this Q101 trip. I would hope that you like the morning show that you were going with. So guaranteed, like, okay, like that vibe, everyone likes that too.
Right.
And it was a safe way to do it. You're doing a lot of stuff in groups because that's, one of the things about being a girl, even when I was single, that should have been the time because I didn't have kids to travel and do everything I want. And you don't get to because it's not safe to go to all these places that you want to go to. And it's very hard to find another girlfriend who's also single or has the same money or the time off or whatever, right? Like that checks all those boxes.
On the flip side, as a guy, I went on a vacation by myself. I went to Cancun one time. I had a break. I was working for the Chicago Bulls and we had the All-Star break. And then that was a weekend I also didn't have my son. So I had like 5 days of freedom. And I was in Chicago. It was like February. And I was like, I don't want to just sit in my condo. And I wasn't dating anybody seriously. They'd be like, let's go to
Mexico.
Let's
and
go
then
to Mexico.
Pay for them.
Right, pay for them, but also make them think it's more serious than it is. I was like, no, I had no one in my life like that. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go. My mom thought I was crazy. I'm like, I'm just going to go to Mexico. I went to Cancun, Mexico by myself. I stayed, I think, 3 nights somewhere. It was awesome, all-inclusive. But as a guy, I felt more safe doing that. I understand.
And like a big guy too.
Yeah,
you're like, you're not gonna get shoved in like you don't
6'3".
even fit in the van very easily.
Yeah.
And I always wanted that. There were so many moments like that for me. Like, oh, I have this little break, or like whatever. I was doing well because I hosted a bunch of extra events, and I could probably have knocked a few things off my bucket list.
Yeah.
And that's the rub of the single girl life, right? So that was one of the things I was talking about on air is if you are single and this is a trip that you'd like to take, this is a good way to safely do so, right? With a group. So we had some of that, and it was so fun. I have to be honest. London was not something that was ever like probably one of my bucket list places.
Same.
There's a lot of places in this world I want to see because of specific things, right? Like you're like, I have to see, I would love to go to New Zealand because it looks stunning. I also think all the Lord of the Rings and stuff were mainly filmed there, like nerd out. Like I have a lot of those things. London wasn't one of those, especially because I've heard the food wasn't good, which was a myth, by the way. We had fantastic food, and I'm definitely a foodie. But I'm so happy this trip happened because I don't think I would have taken it otherwise.
Right.
And I'm so happy I've now been to London because I truly loved it.
Well, let's break it down. Let's break it down because the majority of our trip was really, really good. Now, there were a couple bad things that happened that we'll get to in a little bit. A little tease there, okay?
Bit shitty, isn't it?
Yeah. There were some things that, wow. But anyways, the good first, okay? So we take this long flight. It was about 8.5 hours there. It was 9 hours back, but 8.5 hours there. And we land. Now, mind you, we're exhausted because you really didn't. I can't sleep on a plane, nor can you.
Well, I did the morning show Wednesday too.
True, yeah.
And then came back and was trying to have everything ready for the kids, for my parents to have them, and it's a lot of stuff. They were here, and you're trying to go over everything before you leave, and it was a lot. Just even between, like, okay, here's all of Marino's checklist, which is obviously excessive, and different medicines if he is sick, and how to tell if he is, and there's tons of that. And then even like, okay, now here's Tristan's soccer bag, and here's where his soccer is, and here's his school bag, and here. So there was a lot of moving parts there. And then we go to the airport, we fly overnight and didn't sleep well.
Yeah.
And now we're in London for the day.
Here's how we sleep on a plane. It's like, and I know it's an audio podcast, but like we also have a YouTube video component. You'll see your head like just kind of nods and
then you back up.
You get back up.
You nod and then you get back up.
You're never truly comfortable on a plane. I'm 6'3". I'm never comfortable on a plane. But anyways, we don't really sleep very well. But then we land in London and hit the ground running. We did most of the tourist stuff that first day, like from the airport on a big coach bus to a bunch of touristy things. Why don't you talk about where we hit?
Yeah, so we get picked up from the airport and instantly we're off to the Tower London.
Yeah.
Okay. It was very, very cool. And then Tower Bridge, which you probably think is called London Bridge, the iconic bridge, which it is not. It's called Tower Bridge.
Yeah, because the London Bridge kept falling down, so they don't.
Oh, yeah. What are they going to do about that? There's a very plain bridge called the London Bridge. Ironically.
Yeah.
And it also is in London, but
For the
it's
record,
nothing to look at.
I've said that London Bridge joke many times. And
I would like to throw myself off the London Bridge if I hear it again.
It kills every single time. And you
My
know that.
soul.
No, it
I
kills.
know. I can't hear it again.
Everybody laughs when they hear it, but whatever.
I can't deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
It's been a trip full of it.
We go to the Tower of London and super historic. I mean, it was.
Oh, that was incredible. We got to see like all of the crown jewels that they used during the coronations and everything. Had a huge history tour of
I'm sorry, but the biggest diamond ever we saw, right?
The biggest diamond, yes, in the world. Is part of the royal family's collection.
Yeah.
And it's actually in a scepter that they used during the coronation. And without a joke, it's about this big. I want to say it's 376 carats.
Yeah. I never felt so little.
Which makes such a cheap ass.
I know. I never felt so little as a man. Like, I thought I got you a pretty good wedding ring. And then I see this thing and I'm like, wow, I'm like 315 carats off.
I don't know if there's like a Royals dating app, but you should get on it, okay? If you're single and there is one.
A pretty impressive diamond for sure.
Yeah, whole Tower of London. They even went over, if you ever heard of the musical Six, it's about, and I may get this wrong, I'm so sorry, because everyone's like a Charles or a James, whatever. It's one of the King Charles, he basically killed almost all 6 of his wives in a different manner. And so the musical Six is about his 6 wives' stories because it wasn't at once, right? And in that Tower of London area, Anne Boleyn was one of his wives, and she was beheaded kind of right where we were standing in front of quite a gorgeous area. I remember I was looking out going like, God, this is beautiful. And they're like, so Anne Boleyn was beheaded here because she gave birth to a daughter. So she did nothing quite wrong besides giving birth to, in his opinion, the wrong gender. Also, the daughter stayed alive and just had to grow up knowing that her father murdered her mother because she was born.
It's tough.
So that's the rub on
tough,
that one, huh?
Family dynamic right there.
That's
isn't
a
it?
tough, not a great Thanksgiving. I know they don't celebrate that there. I'm just kidding. But yeah. So anyways, lots of history there. Then I went over to Tower Bridge, of course. Then buzzed on over to the London Eye.
Now, London Eye is basically a big Ferris wheel in the middle of downtown London. It was beautiful. It was awesome, but they call it the London Eye, not a Ferris wheel. And she made sure to clarify that it's not a Ferris wheel. This is the London Eye.
I believe the architects put it in for some huge anniversaries to celebrate something.
Was it ours?
No, it was not our anniversary. But yeah, anyways, the architects built it. And she even said that they were all like a bit like, oh, well, just a Ferris wheel. No.
Yeah.
You know? And then when it got installed, they were like, okay, this is pretty badass. And it actually is. It never stops. You actually just keep all walking on into groups.
Yep.
The bubbles on that the London Eye, which it comes across as a Ferris wheel, but the London Eye actually hold, I want to say 26 people is the cap per pod, and there's room in there with 26 people. Like we had a full pod.
It's glass all the way around, so you're seeing
360.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it takes a full half hour to go around. I honestly was not excited about going on it because I'm like, 30 minutes, that could be kind of boring. Don't you see it?
Yeah.
Every as you keep moving the whole time, it's just always a different view. So it was gorgeous. That also came with a driving tour. So, of course, we saw Big Ben. We saw Parliament.
And, of course, my second joke that killed every single time was, look, kids, Big Ben, Parliament.
All right.
And if you don't know that reference, don't listen to this podcast because you are not for me. It's from European Vacation, Clark W. Griswold. It's iconic. Go watch it. I watched it on the plane, actually, and I was dying. You were
Euro trip just to put them in the mood.
Put me in the mood, and I was ready. I was ready to rock because of good old Chevy Chase. But anyways, yeah. So the Big Ben Parliament, we saw that. It was awesome.
Yes. We saw driving tour, so we got to see Westminster, Buckingham Palace. Truly, almost everything that would be on your checklist, we got to drive past during that as well. It was very cool.
It was the longest day ever, and it really was kind of a long 2 days. We didn't really sleep. Because we
didn't sleep.
We powered through the entire 2 days, and then we had about an hour and a half to get ready for dinner. And we were like, "Don't nap, don't nap, don't nap," because it would probably we probably would never wake up, right?
Right.
Because then we had to go to the official Q&A dinner.
It was a welcome dinner.
Yeah, welcome dinner.
3-course welcome meal.
Yeah, so that was cool. And then this is the first stop we had when it comes to food. And we had heard that the food in London wasn't great. Well, our first meal was really good, man. It was chicken. It was
that Tutton's?
Yeah.
That's where we ate?
Yeah, it was good chicken, and it was what else was there? Potatoes and stuff?
Well, yeah, it was this kind of pureed sweet potato with one of something that's really popular kind of in the London and British areas. They do a lot of roasted chicken or roasts and stuff roasted chicken, things like that. So it was a really pretty roast chicken quarter cutlets. So maybe Costco would have had it, but it was very good.
The best thing about that dinner was the dessert. They had this phenomenal fudgiest brownie of all time. And I will say, I not only had mine, I may have had some of yours, and then me and your co-host Brian, we split everybody else's who didn't finish theirs.
And you had 7 brownies.
They were so good.
It was unbelievable.
They were so good.
They were sharing with their little spoons over everyone's plate, eating everyone's brownie.
London should be known for the warm fudgy brownie. It was delicious.
It was quite decadent. It really was. It was very, very
good.
good.
With your vocab now, you get back from London, decadent.
Decadent.
It was decadent.
I didn't say decadent.
So then we go home and we finally go to sleep. And we slept in the next day until noon.
So here's what happened. Is that our next activity with the crew was going to be at 1:45 the next day, which was excellent because obviously we were up all night. So I'm thank goodness they didn't have an early rise for us. Okay. So we're let's not do an alarm because this is one of our first times with the baby monitor. Yeah. Incredible. And I was let's not do an alarm. I want to wake up naturally. Yeah. Because even on the weekend, you don't. You wake up to, the kids or something. So I'm I want to wake up naturally. And I assumed we'd get up at 9 or 10. Yeah. Because I get up at 3 to 4 for work. And so I'm of course, that's still going to be sleeping in. We woke up at freaking noon.
Yeah, woke up at noon. I got up first. I had to go to the bathroom and I look at my clock and she's like, what time is it? I'm like, go back to bed. It's early. Of course, she looked at the clock. She's like, it's noon?
What?
Yeah. Think about it. It's our first real sleep in almost 2 days. So we slept in. That was very much needed too. We needed to sleep.
I felt like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it was
just
great.
Sleeping till...
Yeah.
I was rested. Yeah. Was so interesting.
It was
what
cool.
An interesting feeling.
And it was cool that both of us did that because normally there are times
can be one or the other.
Before Marina was born, you on the weekends would really sleep in because it was your weekend to kind of catch up on sleep, But I would get up around 7, 8 o'clock. I lay in our bed on my phone because I was up. But this is kind of cool that both of us slept in till noon. We both needed it. It was all right.
And you know what I enjoyed probably the most out of that? Obviously besides the rest, but it was so nice to wake up and not have to immediately shoot out of bed. Because even if the kids weirdly sleep in or something, right? Well, once they're up though, it's you hit the ground running. Yeah. It's we woke up, we're it's noon, and then sat there for about 10 minutes and enjoyed ourselves.
Because our activity was at 1:30 or 1:45, so we're fine.
And I'm what am I going to wear today? What am I going to do? That was such a feeling of not feeling like the road runner, right? When you get up. So I really enjoyed a peaceful get up.
Yeah.
I really did. I love that.
We finally got ready and we did the Borough Market food tour.
Woo!
And this is where we really tasted London. And we can tell you guys that the myth of London food not being good is false because this food tour, we got to eat a lot of things. Why don't you explain what we did and what we ate? Because it was delicious. It really was.
Borough Market has actually been around for over 8,000 years, which is crazy to think. It was written into Parliament that it would be there forever.
That's cool.
And trust me, a lot of developers, it's right on the water, beautiful area right on the Thames River. And of course, they would like to develop that and turn it into apartments that no one could ever afford, right? And, and get richer. But never going to happen. It's way over 100 vendors. I want to say either 140 or 170. I do forget. But it's one of those. And it's only small businesses. In fact, when a small business starts doing really well, congratulations, but you are out of Borough Market. Please make way for other small businesses because it's guaranteed, to build your awareness. So once you're there for a while, you gain all this, say you open a few locations, time to go. Thank you. I'm so happy that you're successful.
And they have a waiting list of over
240.
Yeah.
Over 240.
Vendors that are trying to get in Borough Market.
Yeah, on the list.
They'll get you out.
They know, man. It's time to go. It's there to support the small businesses, which is fantastic. So it really is all different kinds of food and drink. It's fabulous. Also, if you like Harry Potter, the Prisoner of Azkaban scene when he comes like rushing around the corner on that double-decker bus and then gets dropped off at the Leaky Cauldron, that happens in Borough Market, that scene. Fun fact. It's obviously emptied out, but yes.
And if you don't like Harry Potter like me, the food was amazing. And
the food is fantastic.
Let's tell them what our tour consisted of. We had a bunch of different stops.
We started out at the pub called The Rake, which is very, very popular. It's actually where a lot of the vendors go when the market closes at 5. Mm-hmm. So we got a little drink there. We went ahead and had some Spanish, like charcuterie de Brindisa. Fantastic Spanish food stand.
Little thin pieces of meat. They were so good.
It says you're never going to be able to enjoy a charcuterie board again because this is what it's supposed to taste like.
So good.
Just outside that, there was a chorizo grill, and you got a chorizo roll, which is a fantastic sandwich. It was so good.
I'm a big fan of chorizo. Normally, for me, it's like chorizo and eggs in the morning, but this was like a chorizo grill with, had
like arugula and everything on it. It was
I've only had like lobster rolls before, but this was like a chorizo roll, and it was delicious. Oh my gosh.
Then we headed over, I believe, to Shell Seekers, I believe is the name. But we got this huge slice of cured salmon. So good. I don't even like cooked fish. I don't go out and get fish. That is not who I am. I do like raw seafood, like sushi and stuff. But that little slab of raw cured salmon, in a way it's cooked if it's cured, but it's still raw. So good. Was my favorite thing I had that day. Yeah. Then we went to Pitchfork Cheddar and got to try like 800 cheeses. They were fantastic. I'm not even going to begin to try to pronounce what they called these cheeses. They're named after different areas where the milk came. But it was fantastic. So we had that. We also went to
oysters. We
had oysters, which was across from the Leaky Cauldron entrance in the movie. That was right there.
I am not an oyster person, never have been, but they're like, you have to try these. I'm like, okay, cool. So I tried them, and I'm still not an oyster person, but I tried them, and that's all that matters.
They were very fresh and good. They really were.
You love oysters, and you love these.
It was Richard Hayward's Oysters, I believe was the name of it.
Good old Dick, yeah.
Good old Dick Oysters. We also went to Raya, which is an Asian food market inside that market, inside the Borough Market. Yeah. And
This is cool.
They have tons of stuff in there that's very odd, including like maggot candy and things like that, right? All the oddities. But what they also had was fresh, in front of you, sugarcane juice. Like he shoved the sugarcane shoot in the juicer.
These are like gigantic sugarcane sticks. Yeah. And he put them in the machine and like juice came out.
Yeah. Like right in front of you.
So fresh.
And he tossed in like a few lemon, lime, coconut pieces for a little something. And we had that juice and it was the best, most fresh juice of my life. I wish I could wake up and have that every morning. We should get one of those machines.
I know.
For the home. Yeah. I would love one.
I could
in
have
my stocking.
I could have that juice like 24/7 was delicious.
Oh gosh, it was fantastic.
But they did have because Tristan really wanted a candy that was exclusive to London.
Yeah, that's what we wanted.
And so we almost, because they actually had like insect lollipops.
Yeah.
It was like dead insects, obviously, but they were like in lollipops. And I was like, this is kind of be funny. But then we're like, can we bring those back to America? Because like there's customs and you can't bring bugs. I don't know. They're dead. But
what if the bugs are in the candy?
Yeah,
what's the policy?
I don't know how that is. But anyways, I wouldn't dare try the maggots. I'm not, no way.
I almost did because they had barbecue flavor. And I'm like, well, maybe it's just crunchy.
Gross.
And then we had the oysters after that. And then we went to Okay Horn Please Indian restaurant, and it was the first time I'd ever had dosa. It was really, really good. It was this like wrapped up like potato cake stuffed with kind of all the classic vegetarian Indian food that was very, very flavorful. So
and actually, fun fact here, I do not like Indian food. And this is the part of the tour where I left and went to buy my chorizo roll.
Non-vegetarian chorizo roll.
Yeah, that was not included in the tour, but I'm not a big Indian food fan. So I'm like, I'm going to get that chorizo roll. We had a break. I went, I got it. It was delicious. You had your Indian food.
Yes.
I had my chorizo roll. All was right in the world.
Yes. And then we got 2 desserts. So we got the humble crumble, which is fantastic. If you don't know anything about the crumble, it was actually a dessert invented during World War I because it's very much cheaper to make than a pie because it's just layers. So what you do is you do the fruit layer on the bottom. Apples, obviously very popular, but you can do other fruit. Then like a streusel topping, so it'd be kind of like your pie. Then a custard, and then basically a meringue on top. And then you do toppings on top of that, like just almost like sprinkles of things. Like we had like rose petals. Amazing.
It was so
amazing.
Good. Yeah, that was good.
Really smart because relatively non-expensive to create those, but I know that they're making tons of money, so it's a really ideal food stand.
Yeah.
Very smart. And then our last stop was I almost want to say grumpy, but it's not. It was the greedy goat.
The greedy goat?
The greedy goat. Now, this was adorable.
Because by us, there's the grumpy goat.
There is, and it throws me off.
Yeah,
it was kept throwing me off, even when we were talking about it while we were there. So it was the greedy goat, and if you go during the colder seasons, they have waffles, which were delightful. That's what we had. But if you are there during the warm seasons and throughout, like even during the cold times, they have this as well. They have like a goat milk based ice cream, which is really, really good. And the owner's there, and she calls all the goats her girls, and she knows all their names, and it's very, very sweet.
Out here, it's like the cat lady, but out there, they have the goat lady.
They got that goat lady, and she is slanging the waffles.
But it was waffles with like chocolate syrup on. It was really, really good. Yeah,
absolutely.
If you're a visual person like me, we did do a really cool video of our entire experience at the Borough Market. It was voiced by Kenzie over here too.
Hello.
You can go to our Instagram or any Facebook, whatever, at Kenzie and Roman. You could see visually all these foods that we had. A really cool little 2-minute video.
Yeah, and if you're planning a trip, then you'll have all the names and stuff like that if you do want it.
My takeaway from that was Chicago needs to do something like this.
Oh, yeah.
It was so cool to set aside maybe an old warehouse or something and to really help and promote small businesses. And I think it would be such a really cool attraction for locals, tourists, everything. I think it would be great. I love how Parliament wrote it in there that it's allowed to be there forever. Like
it is protected.
It's not a trend, not a fad. It's going to be forever. This will be happening. And obviously it's very successful. So I think Chicago, maybe like in the West Loop, could do something like this. I wish they really would. And actually, fun fact, Brandon Johnson, our mayor of Chicago, was on our flight going to London.
He was. I hope he picked up that idea.
Yeah, it was very controversial that he was going to London. Well, he was on our flight. So we saw him and we talked to him about the controversy.
He had a better seat than we did.
Yeah. Let's just say that he's doing pretty well. He was in the front with the way they have the beds. He was up there.
I looked up. I did look up how much those seats would cost because I was hoping we have a lot of points because
miles.
We're like the miles credit card. That's what we do.
Miles,
okay.
Yeah, Miles Plus.
And I've never really sat first class ever. And I was like, well, that would be a really fun time to do it because you need to stretch out. So I was kind of like, oh, maybe if we upgraded, I would really enjoy that. Just like cash, they're going for about $15,000. Yeah.
So I'd say
it was a no.
So thank you to all Chicago taxpayers for sending Brandon Johnson there in first class.
You know what blows my mind though is I would say almost half the plane was those first class seats because they are large the way they are. So there's a lot of them.
They're like beds, yeah.
On the international. God, a lot of people could afford those. Yeah. A lot of people could afford a $15,000 seats.
I would say it's not just cash, so you're upgrading with miles, those kind of things too. But
you know what you get what I'm getting at here.
A lot of the world has money.
I couldn't believe how many
a lot of the world does not have money.
Yeah.
And then
we walked past all the people with money and then we sat in the back.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Economy Plus. Okay, at least because of our status, we got Economy Plus.
Woo.
So we're,
we got 4 extra inches.
Yeah, exactly. And that matters. It matters. 4 extra inches matter.
There's a lot of guys who would say you are correct, sir.
All right. So Borough Market, that was fun. And then afterwards, we stepped aside from the group and went to Pickle Deli. What's it? Pickle D?
Piccadilly
Square.
Circus.
My bad. I don't know any of this stuff. Piccadilly Circus.
Oh, please ask me.
And it was kind of like their version of New York Times Square.
Yes, it is. That's where the huge LED screens are. There's tons of shopping down all the streets. A gorgeous area. I really wanted to see it. A lot of movie scenes have been there, of course, because you definitely see it. The long LED screens and like the old school buildings. It's a cool thing to see. I'm like, we're there. We have to go. Not for the entire day or anything.
Yeah.
But we really need to hop on the tube and check out Piccadilly.
See, she's good at this stuff. You couldn't do it on the spot, but now you're kind of in character now.
Well, I needed to know what to say.
Oh, okay. So a lot of walking. We did a lot of walking, and yeah, their public trans is really, really good. Blows ours away. Cleaner, faster, more efficient. And Chicago always had a really good public trans. I would say recently, I don't think that we felt very, very safe on London's.
And you know what? It didn't smell like urine, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah. It was overall a cleaner, better public trans experience.
You know what? Something fascinating I must point out,
sure.
honey, as they had cloth seats.
Yeah.
That's how clean this thing is and how much they couldn't trust their patrons, because imagine that in Chicago.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, like I said, it's
my.
I am a Chicago homer. I think Chicago is amazing, but London's public trans is much better, for sure.
Yeah, it's fast as hell.
Those
trains were hauling ass.
There were times we were looking like on Google Maps about should we walk or take an Uber or what, and it was saying public trans was faster than even driving. Like that's how it was. So it was awesome. So then after Piccadilly Circus, we went back to the hotel, got ready for our one like kind of fancy dinner, just me and you
together. Yeah, because that was like our group thing for the day was the Borough Market. So this was gonna be like our one. It was a date night.
In London.
No kids, people. A date night in London.
So you did a lot of research, found an Italian restaurant called Carlotta.
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful decor, beautiful inside, beautiful outside.
Stunning.
Beautiful Italian restaurant. The food was good. The truffle pasta was amazing.
Yeah, they made like this truffle butter pasta table side. And that part was to die for. It really, really was.
The rest was good, but the truffle
the food
pasta
was pretty good. The carpaccio was really good.
Yeah.
Our carpaccio was good. I would say really good. Our arancini was good. Our truffle butter pasta was amazing.
That was amazing.
Our steak was good.
Yeah.
And they just did it a little different. It was more like a soft steak.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a thing there. I don't know.
And then we couldn't decide between two different desserts. I really wanted the big boy creme brulee. Mm-hmm. And you wanted the pistachio gelato.
Well, so our waiter was recommending all the pistachio dishes because they got their pistachios fresh each day and did a lot with them, like from a local market. And so they had Italian wedding cake and then a pistachio tiramisu and then pistachio gelato. The problem is he hates coffee. And, ex facto, he hates tiramisu. So the wedding cake also had a tiramisu layer. Yeah. So it ruined the first two desserts. So I'm like, I was stuffed anyways. I'm going to get the little gelato because I really want to taste. It had like a candied pistachio on top. It was very, very good.
Yeah. So we ordered both. But you know what? We're going to splurge. We treat ourselves a little bit. We're going to splurge. We got both desserts. Well, good thing we did because our waiter at the very end of the night came by and sat down and he goes, hey, listen, I can't do the accent, but he's like, hey, listen. If me and my girlfriend are up for this trip, and if you give me 5-star,
this is your version of the accent.
5-star Google review, then
is he French?
I don't know. I have like two accents, and London is not one of them. Okay, but anyways, he was basically saying that he was up for some big trip, and if we gave him a 5-star review on Google and put his name in the review, he would give us our desserts for free. And we're like, awesome.
I don't know if the food group that he works for is Big Mama. And to me, it's very similar. It's like their Let Us Entertain You. They have like these really trendy, good restaurants out there. Yeah. I believe they owned about 5 or 6 from what I saw when I was looking up restaurants, but out in the London area. But in Chicago, they're the ones who own all the nice RPMs and all that stuff, right? So like that food group for them. I don't know if Big Mama is aware that he's slanging free food if people give him good reviews. Yeah. I think that's going against the whole, I think the point of what they were doing is if you are the best waiter, you wouldn't trip, not if you give away enough free food.
So he gave us 2 free desserts. That was like $25.
Easily.
Like, right.
Easily. If not more. And limoncello shots for free.
That was nice too. Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, okay, well, I hope I hope they're not gonna mic anybody on you.
Yeah, so that was great. So
Yeah.
we
I hope he wins. He was very excited about the idea of going to New York.
He gets to go to New York with his girlfriend, all expenses paid. So good for him.
Welcome to New York.
There you go.
New York.
There you go. All right, so we go back home. Felt super safe taking the tube at midnight.
Hop on the tube.
It was all good. The next day we got up early because we did a Ted Lasso tour in Richmond.
We headed out to Richmond, England.
Yeah, tell them about that tour. It was awesome.
Now, Richmond was gorgeous, so it was really cool. It's about 30 minutes outside the city, but London traffic is horrendous, so it takes much longer than you would think. Yeah. So we got picked up in a little private cabbie, and what was really cool is you had to drive through a lot of other areas on the way to Richmond. So kind of like accidentally, we also got a Notting Hill tour, which is very fun. So that's a very fancy area in London. Also kind of a classic Hugh Grant, Julia Roberts movie if you have or have not seen it.
I have not, by the way.
I know. We have to watch it because I probably haven't seen it since I was like very, very young. Yeah. I would imagine like elementary school. So I'd love to see it again after now going to London, fresh eyes.
For sure.
We had to see like Hugh Grant's Blue Door. If that movie means anything to you, you'll of course know about that. Notting Hill itself is gorgeous. It's known for kind of the colorful homes. So all those gorgeous London flats that you see, they were all different colors and everything. Yeah. And that is their real like bougie expensive area, she was telling us. So that was nice. So then we got to see that. A couple other neighborhoods on the way, which was very fun because they're all such different vibes. Really, London to me was like this European New York. All the boroughs were just so different. I really liked that. So we get to Richmond, and I did not think that it was as expensive as an area as it is. Yeah. It is bougie like island over there, and everything was truly filmed there. So Rebecca's home is right around, if you watch Ted Lasso and you see them walk out, he walks out in the morning into that little alley and he passes the pub and then one green store on the corner and the telephone booth and walks out into a park. All that's exactly there. So as you walk up, that was not a set. They didn't create that. They didn't paint that. Yeah.
We walked it.
It was like, oh, holy crap. This is Ted Lasso right here. That's exactly what Richmond looks like. It's gorgeous. Now around that circle, that park that he walks through constantly when he walks out and he kicks the soccer ball, does all those things. So the therapist, he walks through there. When you get to one side, it's Nate's parents' house. You get to the other side of that park, it's just a circle. You can always see all the ends of it. Is Rebecca's home. Yeah. So that's how boop, boop, boop. Everything's right there. Right down that alley. They didn't fake it. Is the door that they used for Ted Lasso's apartment or flat, I suppose, is right there. And then we got to walk around the rest of Richmond, which, oh my God.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Oh my God. Like the amount of restaurants, shops, couldn't afford a thing. It was insane. Beautiful homes, some old nobleman homes, everything. All right on the Thames River. It's gorgeous.
Up and down the river we walked and saw some,
which multiple shots were filmed right up there. Like Roy Kent and Keeley's when they have the kiss right after their first dinner was right on the river over there.
We reenacted the kiss.
We did. If you see that picture, that's what's happening there. We didn't have to punch anyone in the face and bully them for a photo back. But it was so gorgeous, and I love how much they truly utilized in that area. You don't see that a lot, usually filming, and there were of course other things, very spread out. But like Nate's restaurant, The Taste of Athens, is actually an Italian restaurant, and that was in Notting Hill. But a lot of things were right there in Richmond. They really used that space very, very well. So it really makes it worth it to visit because there is so much right there.
And then we got to have a pint in the bar.
Yeah, in Fuller's. So that pub was so good in that pub. And it's really fun because a lot of the vendors, of course, have totally embraced that this is now like Ted Lasso's town. Yeah. And they all sell like AFC Richmond gear, which is like a made up team. That team does not exist. The Greyhounds were not real. They don't have a football league over there, a Premier League over there. So it's just fun that they're selling kind of all the gear and all the stores. I really did buy an AFC Richmond Greyhounds hat. It's just very cute. So.
Actually, fun fact we learned, people from London don't really watch Ted Lasso.
Yeah. They don't.
It's way more popular in America. They really. We even met a guy at the airport who never heard of it. He's like, "Where'd you go?" And then we told him, he's like, "Oh, never." Like, because they don't get Apple TV Plus, or I don't know, but it's definitely Ted Lasso is definitely bigger in America than it is in London, which is crazy because they film it out there.
I know, and it has a lot of British stars in it too, like Hannah. I'm gonna say her name wrong. Waddingham, I believe it is. I'm saying it wrong, but she was a huge musical theater star in that area and stuff. So it's not even like, well, they don't know Jason Sudeikis. Like, who cares? It's filled with like really popular Judah Temple. It's filled with very popular actors that are their hometown people.
Yeah,
so it was
they
very
don't check
funny.
for it. They don't check for it. But it was awesome. It was a really, really cool tour.
Cool.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of the whole trip, you know?
Yeah,
and then we came back to our hotel, and then we had to get ready for the pub crawl that night.
Yes.
This is now Saturday night in London.
Yes.
And the pub crawl, we had actually like a dinner first.
It was a 3-course meal. It was awesome. Very delicious.
And then so we had a pork chop. We had the pork chop was very good actually.
Huge pork chop.
And then we had just whatever size with it, and then a really good dessert too.
It was the waffle with the like the praline like banana on it. Very good.
That was good. Yeah. And then we had.
I'll never be able to have one again, but yes.
You and I had a couple ciders, and then you had some wine, and then we went to another bar. Was called
the pub crawl kicked off then, and we had our meal at Robux, and then we head to the Gladstone pub,
that's right.
which has been there for over 200 years.
Yep.
Very cool. Winston Churchill used to go there. He lived down the street from it. Also, the prison that Winston Churchill's father was in was just down the road from there, the debtor's prison. He wasn't like a huge criminal. It's just, poor people. They weren't put him right in a prison, eh? Yeah. Very nice of him.
What you gotta do?
Yeah. So also, if you've seen the movie with Mark Wahlberg and Halle Berry, The Union, I believe it's on Netflix. That is that very pub, the Gladstone, and many other movies have also been filmed in there. But that would be probably
the owner came by and was like, "Mark Wahlberg sitting right there." I was like, "Oh, that's cool." That's awesome.
Yes, it's a small one. Really cool, but over 200 years old.
Crazy.
And then took a couple block walk and ended up at is it the St. George or just the George? I forget.
I don't know. I'm so shocked you know all these names. I don't know. I was like, went to the first bar and the second bar and
the history of it. I'm kind of a nerd like that.
Yeah,
I do soak that kind of stuff in a lot.
Thank God that you're on this podcast. My descriptions would be like, yeah, I went to this one bar and it was green, and then the other like I have no idea of the names or even like what we ate. Like, but thank God.
Oh my God, I feel like the tour guide of the podcast.
I'm glad I didn't partner up with anybody else. I'm glad it was me and you on this podcast, because like I can't carry my own weight on this podcast.
No, you're not. I feel like I'm correcting you more than you're helping me. So we went to it was either the George or the St. George. I do apologize.
How do you not know that? How do you not know that name?
I'm a piece of crap. But what it is that's a huge tourist spot, because it's actually one of the last standing it's a tourist trap because it's a pub and a restaurant and an inn all in one.
All right, yeah.
So that's
it's called something.
It is called something. I do forget the term for that.
Yeah,
so
like
yeah. But that's one.
The trifecta of fun.
Yeah, the trifecta
that's what it's called.
So there's only a few of those left. I swear like there's like 2, and that was one of them. But that's a really, really popular spot because of that. So very, very cool. Kind of a hot spot over there. So we get to see that, which is obviously also most things in London. Been around for quite a while. Yeah, quite a bit.
All right. So after that, when we were done, we walked home. And this is where the fun really begins. Okay, so we've told you all the really, really good stuff. Now we're about to go into something that was pretty bad, okay? We're walking home. We get to our hotel. And mind you, this is Saturday night going into Sunday. Sunday is the Bears game. And that's the main reason we flew to London, spent all this money, and it's around the Bears game. And that's tomorrow, right? So we're walking home. Woo! And then Saturday night, we get to our hotel. And Kenzie starts to not feel good.
I did not feel great.
Yeah. And so, all right, well, let's see what's going on here. And
it was a long day. And I'm like, I just think like lay down. I'm like, yeah. And like, I'm not a big beer drinker. And I do believe those lagers and stuff, they were pretty strong. Like I was taking sips of them. I'm like, woo.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe it made my stomach, stomach turn a bit. That's okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, it turned a lot because
it kept on turning.
Pretty quickly, you ran to the bathroom and threw up.
I did.
Yeah. And that didn't stop the rest of the night.
I proceeded to get sick 6 times that evening.
Man. It was bad.
And I cried quite a bit laying on the floor because it hurt.
Yeah. And I mean, I felt kind of helpless because like, what can you really do when your significant other is sick, right? Like, I mean, I can't fix it, and all I could do is give her water and check on her and stuff. But like, you kind of feel helpless. I felt horrible. She's going through this like really, really bad time.
And it's embarrassing because it's not like when you're in a home where it's like, I'm gonna go upstairs and get sick. It's like you're in a small hotel room, and it's like, I'm sure I apologize still. Now I feel bad about it.
I know you didn't. I know you don't want me to go like in the bathroom with you and stuff. So
I don't. Listen, I'm not one of those people. I can't even like pee in front of my husband. I want him to find me attractive.
Yeah.
So I did feel really bad about that because like that's not fun for you.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not saying. I'm saying I felt helpless because I couldn't really help you except like, here's a water bottle by the door. Like I heard you getting sick, and it was like, damn it, like I felt so bad for you, but it was all night long. You come back, lay in the bed, and rub your head a little bit, and then you'd run to the bathroom. I mean, I was like, oh my God, like she's really, really sick.
And I'm like, it has to be food poisoning or these loggers not agreeing with me, or like, I really felt like it was that because I wasn't, there wasn't like a stuffy nose and a headache and I feel like it kind of came on pretty quickly, which is a lot of times an indication of more like a food poisoning because you're fine until that, that hits your stomach, right? So I thought that it was really something more like that.
Yeah. All right. So here okay. So I'm going to set it up again because this is going to be like our social media post. Okay.
No.
So here we go. We are in London for the Bears game, which is happening on Sunday. Okay.
Okay.
We flew 8.5 hours for the Bears game.
Bear down.
We spent a lot of money for the Bears game. Okay. Saturday night, Kenzie gets sick. Not once, not all night long. She's gotten sick six times.
I'm like sleeping on the bathroom floor.
She's deathly sick. And so we get up in the morning and she's like, babe, I can't go to the Bears game. I can't go to the Bears game. You just go. You just go. And
I want you to go. I want you to go to the game. I don't want to ruin it. I'm like, there's no way I can transport my body to the gate and not get sick on everybody.
Right.
No, I'm not gonna, what are you supposed to do with that?
And my initial reaction was, no way, I'm not going without you. Like, not gonna happen. You're like, and then you're sick and you really couldn't even stand up and you're like, no, babe, I can't go. You just go without me.
I'm laying on the toilet like, leave.
Just go without me.
Just go to the game.
So now here's the dilemma. Okay, here's the dilemma.
Call you Nelly.
She's insisting that I go to the game without her. Now, I don't want to do that.
I don't like to ruin anyone's stuff. I can't. I don't want to own that. Yeah. I want you at the game. Yeah. I want you to be like, that was awesome.
I don't want to do that. But here, I'm putting it in perspective for a second. If this was a Tuesday night in Chicago and we're going to a Cubs game, we've gone to a million of them, I'm not going to the Cubs game. We're not going. You're sick. Not going to happen, right? We flew 8.5 hours to London. We spent a lot of money in London to go to the Bears game.
And I wanted him to go.
Right.
I stand by that. If you would have went without me, I would have not been angry about it. Yeah. I really didn't want you to miss it. Like I didn't want to miss it. Why would I want you to miss it?
So if you're watching this right now, like, what do you do? What do you do, guys? What do you do? Because I know that I shouldn't go, but then I'm like, well, shit. I mean, maybe I should.
Should I stay or should I go?
Maybe this is the one exception when you should do it because it only happens once in a lifetime. The Bears are in London.
Yeah.
So comment. What would you do? I'll tell you what I did. I said, I'm not going without you. Not going to happen, but we don't have to leave at 10 a.m. to go to the pregame thing.
There was like this pregame drinks and food party, which obviously I wouldn't have partaken in heavily.
So I was like, go back to bed for 2 more hours. I'm going to tell Brian we're going to miss that. We're not going to go with them as a group. And then sleep for 2 hours. If you get up, take a shower, and if you can do it, then we will go to the game. We'll take an Uber and go directly to the game together.
And so make it to the game with everyone.
I go, but if you get up and you shower and you can't do it, we're not going. Like that was what I decided to do. Okay, good husband, right? Like I'm not going without you. But for a second I was like, do I? I mean, I don't know. But I was like, no, we're in this together. Not going to happen. So you go to sleep. You actually slept really hard for 2 hours. You knocked out. You slept for 2 hours.
I went into hibernation, I think. Yeah.
And then I had to get you up around noon because the game was starting at 2:30. It's about an hour away. Like it was a whole thing.
Yeah, we had to start making some decisions.
You got up feeling a bit better, but I could still tell you weren't right. But I understand how it is.
If when you vomit the entire night.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning,
Well, I also know how it is when you're just laying in bed, though. I said, listen, the only thing I want to say is I want you to get up. I want you to take a shower and then tell me you can't go. Because if you're laying in bed, you don't want to go. I get it, right? So you went to take a shower. You washed off all the sick germs, if you will. And then you came out of the shower and you're like, okay, I can do it. I go, babe, no. I go, tell me for real right now, like, can you do it or not? Because if you tell me no, we're not going to go. Don't worry about it. And you go, no, I can do it. I said, okay. So we actually got ready, credit to you. We took an Uber all the way straight there, and we made it for kickoff for the Bears in London.
We did. We made it in time for kickoff.
Yeah.
And I just want to put in perspective. I'm like, this is like food poisoning. and I am traveling to the Chicago Bears game several hours after it.
Yeah.
Okay, this destroyed me. And I'm like, okay, let's go.
You look great though. It really cleaned up nice.
I cleaned up real pretty.
Yeah. So we get to the Bears game. It was all, I'm sure you've seen the score by now. We crushed
Tottenham Stadium is
gorgeous. Gorgeous stadium. Yeah. A lot of Bears fans. It was really cool to see the Bears in London. It was really, really cool. The Bears destroyed Jacksonville. I saw 3 touchdowns and it was awesome. Now,
and the group we were with was just so fun.
A fun group.
It was fun.
Cool.
We were just all sitting in the middle of them. It was great. I didn't throw up on anybody.
Yeah. Open air stadium. So a bit chilly. Halftime hits and you want to go inside like our little premium area because you want to warm up. I said fine.
I'm like, I need to warm. The chills start hitting. I mean, you're outside for 2 quarters. You know?
Yeah. So we go inside and whatever. You're just warming up. All good. Now the game starts, second half. And you're like, I'm going to stay in here. You just go out to the seats and go watch the game. Yeah. I'm like, no, babe, no. And she's facing like not the game. She's facing like the other way.
That was only because they were holding during halftime. They held the doors open the whole time.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to warm up. And there's really nowhere else to go besides that. So I didn't want to face it.
Yeah.
I was trying to warm myself.
I heard some cheering. So I go out to our seats because I knew something good was happening. I saw the Bears score that 3rd touchdown. Woo! And it was great. Yeah. I think we're winning 21-3 at this point, right? So then I go inside. I go, babe, come on. She goes, I can't. I'm too cold. I go, listen. Okay, we're crushing them. She was a total trooper to come here in the first place. I felt like I experienced it. Would I have loved to stay the entire game? Absolutely. But I also thought like you did a solid for me to even go. You're not feeling good. You have the chills. Let's get out of here. And we left, and you didn't want to. No. I go, no.
That was not my intention. I really was just trying to warm up because when you have when your body starts to shake when you are sick, that started happening and I wanted to get ahead of it. I'm like, I need to go in and get warm. It wasn't my intention to leave when we did that.
Yeah. So we left after that 3rd touchdown, right into the 3rd quarter. Then we did leave, but we were there. We got the pictures. We got the
3
videos.
touchdowns.
I saw 3 touchdowns. It was really, really cool.
I would say both quarters, all of halftime and a bit of the 3rd quarter.
A bit of the
3rd quarter.
A little bit.
And it was nice because getting out of there, crowds waiting for everything. It wasn't just staying till the end. If I could have stayed till the end and then been back at the hotel, like say it was down the block or something, but knowing how like we probably would have had to walk a long time to find an Uber or hop on public transit, that excursion back would have been very challenging. Colder because it would have been dark out.
Yeah.
That would have been rough on me, I think.
We got out of the game pretty easily.
Yeah,
and then,
we're able to get an Uber again.
Uber directly right to the house or to the hotel. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that was our Bears experience.
Of course.
It wasn't perfect, but it did happen. And what's the old cliche of like don't be sad because I forget the whole thing.
Don't be sad
that it happened.
That it ended. Be happy because it happened.
Something like that, cheerio.
So I don't know if that fits.
When in Rome,
When in Rome.
No, but I'm glad that we got to. I am glad we got to experience it together. I would have felt horrible going by myself. I decided I wasn't going to do that, although I did think about it for a second.
I don't. Like Sebastian, I don't want to be the problem.
Yeah, right.
That's how I am, and we were there for that, and I was in the hotel set. I mean, I wasn't going to have you leave me in the middle of, Piccadilly Circus. Like, fine. I was like, I'm going to lay here, go to the game.
I just, as your husband, someone who loves you, yes, I couldn't really do anything for you in that moment, but I could be present in that moment. And I think that's more than enough at that point.
Yeah.
Because you weren't feeling great. And I mean, again, if it was a Cubs game at Wrigley Field, 1000%, I would never even think about going. This time I thought a little bit about it because it was so unique, but thankfully I didn't have to make that decision.
Yes, it was good.
I would have felt really bad had I done that. So I didn't.
You didn't do it.
And you were a trooper, so thank you. So,
yes.
All right, so now the Bears game fiasco's over. We fly out our wake up call was 4:30 in the morning the next day because our flight was 8:30 in the morning. You were worried about being sick on the plane. Thankfully, you were getting better as kind of the day went by, whatever. And so the flight home, it sucks. 9 hours. You had said it best. Like going somewhere 8 hours, you're excited.
You have adrenaline. Like we're almost there. We're almost at the trip. We're almost this. At the end of a trip, you're like, can my ass just be home?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to spend that time traveling back.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like let's hop to it.
Yeah. So 9 hours back was like pulling teeth, but whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I will say, we'll end the podcast with this. I have definitely bragged in the past about my iron stomach. Okay. And it's been, people have done studies on me because it's so impressive that I never get sick. Right. I mean, it's one of those things where even you say like, oh my God, this kid's got an iron stomach. Like I never get sick.
I'm never worried. I'm always really good when I'm sick to kind of like disinfect the house, before because of Tristan, now because of Tristan and Marino.
Yeah.
If I'm sick, I'm wiping everything down. I'm never concerned about getting him sick though. He just never seems to catch it.
Yeah.
Like Tristan and I have always exchanged, if one of us is sick, the other goes down.
Yeah.
It happens. But yeah, not him.
Full disclosure, I haven't thrown up since I was 7 years old. Like really, like I just don't. I have from food, from the flu. I'm not a big drinker, but even from alcohol, I don't do that. Doesn't happen, right? Okay. Well, as she's sick and I'm cuddling with her and I'm drinking out of her water bottle because I'm not even worried about it.
I have to be honest, I thought it was food poisoning too.
Yeah, true.
I wasn't in the thought process of a catchable virus. Was not what I thought was happening.
So Monday we get home. I feel great, you know. I'm having dinner with your parents. The kids are back. Everything's good. I go to bed. I feel 100%. I feel great.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I wake up at like 2 a.m. and I run to the bathroom. And for the first time since I was 7 years old,
you broke your record.
I threw up.
And it was right. Okay, here's the thing.
God, it was
I
horrible.
was getting up for work. And all of a sudden, he lockers past me and like slams the bathroom door. And I'm like, I get up obviously like really early. So it's like 3:30 something. And I'm kind of looking around like, what the hell just happened? Like, do you have to pee really bad? And then I hear it.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, oh my God. No.
I was so disappointed in myself because I really doesn't happen to me. I never catch it. Again, since I was like 7 years old, I never get sick. I have an iron stomach, but whatever that was, you transferred over to me.
So obviously I had like the 24-hour flu. I thought it was like a food poisoning, but based on the fact that it was just an upset stomach, but I don't think so.
No. and I will tell you that literally, I mean, as the day went by, I felt better and better and better. Well, here we are recording this podcast. One day later, I feel like it never happened. I feel 1,000%. It was the quickest thing in the world, but the Guinness Book of World Records is going to have to check back with me in another 40-something years because my record has been broken. I'm very, very upset about that.
I'm so sorry.
All because of you. It's all because of you.
Well, I honestly wasn't being very careful because I didn't think I had like a virus going on.
Yeah, no, you
Sorry.
did.
I did.
Yeah, and it hit us both.
Yeah, no, we found that out the hard way, didn't we?
It rocked the Romans. It rocked the Romans, didn't it? Well, anyways, all in all, great trip. Thank you, honey, for first off thinking of this trip for your station, and then allowing me to be part of it because I got a discounted rate because my girl is the morning show over there. So something that was really, really cool and special for both of us. We'll never forget it.
Never.
For the good and the bad. There's a couple things that were in there.
I know, that's what makes it memorable, though.
Yeah, so memorable. So memorable. But yeah, the Romans took on London and it was super fun. And that was our
London recap.
London recap. Yeah. And there you go.
Classic.
Well, no, we're pausing awkwardly. I told her I was going to talk about something else, but we're out of time. We're already.
We didn't have time for that story. And I'll tell you what, I've heard that story so many times.
Yeah, that's for a different day. Okay. Right now, this whole episode was about London. And we had a blast.
You sound like you're from London.
Can you say our catchphrase in a London accent?
I'm not sure.
Let's see.
You can't spell romance without Roman, can ya?